Welcome to another episode of Tech Talk Radio. I'm Andy Taylor,
I'm Shawn DeWeerd.
and we are the show that talks about computers
Technology?
and, of course, the internet. It's good to see Shawn, especially in his Bucky's outfit today. Man, you are representing.
My mom is officially obsessed.
Yeah.
She just texted me today saying, "Hey, I'm at another Bucky's. What do you want?"
Oh, you're kidding me. Oh, wow.
She actually asked if I wanted another one so Caitlin and I could have matching onesies. And I said no.
Why not? That'd be cool.
That would be ridiculous.
That.
No. So I told her to give me a t-shirt instead. So I'm sure she's gotten Max and Daniel have full Bucky's outfits. Right. I've got a full Bucky's outfit. We're Bucky's. We're paying somebody's salary over there.
Now, when Caitlin comes into the room and sees you like that, does she roll her eyes or does she kind of give you the wink? Like,
she's accepted me for who I am.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. I wasn't sure the show was going to go off as planned today because there's a couple of things that have changed. And I'll tell you, and now for those that are wondering, Justin is still out, still waiting on his remodel of his basement. Was that what they're doing on? Is that what?
Yeah, he had the hot water heater failure, which flooded his basement, and it's taking longer for them to finish the work than what he was expecting. So I'm sure we'll get a salty review once he comes back.
Of course. And then Matt is out; he's traveling, and we invited Slick, but again, we don't know where Slick is. So
yeah, I'm good with traveling for a while. I traveled 2 different places in 2 weeks, and I'm good for a while.
Well, it kind of surprised me. You actually went to Canada, right?
Canada. Yeah. Yeah. So I traveled. We have a vendor. The vendor is Evertz. They're probably one of the leading broadcast vendors in the world. And they invited us up to their HQ to do a tour and some future planning with them because they are the vendor that is the brains of our operation. So we're looking at what the next 5 years is, because our facility was spec'd and built in 2015, 2016.
Wow.
Right. So we're already, like, when we were built, we were at the bleeding edge, right? Where we were one of the first universities to do a full IP core router with their EXE 1.0. And that's been great. It's been great. Right. But that's also 7 years of advancement have gone on since then.
When I first started in television in it was closed circuit TV in the high school that I went to, we had a TV studio back in 1979. I mean, that was pretty advanced. We had the big, huge cameras, with the pedestals and, zoom in, zoom out on the actual handles itself. But you look at how far television's come. But then it came from an analog, basically 3/4-inch videotape. You had 1-inch videotape as well, to now where it is. Is the recording all done digital, or do you do 1-inch tape just for kind of like a backup?
There's no tape anymore.
No tape anymore? Nothing.
So if you look back, so let's just take my career in news and in broadcast. My career started, I graduated from college in 2008. So my first job right out of college was working for a multimedia company that did the Arca Remax stock car series. Right? They shot videos and did web stuff for them. We shot on mini DV.
Oh, wow.
So that was, mini DV was 50 megabit digital tape. 50 megabits per second is great. It's perfect for what we needed. Lots of prosumer mini DV tapes, lots of consumer DV tapes, lots of professional mini DV tapes. When I moved into news in 2010, we were no more tape. Tapes were gone.
Done.
It was all Sony XD Cam, right? Sony was the big leader in so it was MPEG-2, code MPEG-2 compression, which was XD Cam. So you had XD Cam 50 megabit, XD Cam 35 megabit. So XD Cam HX and XD Cam EX. Then moving in from there, it just got better and better and better. You started getting to MP4, you started getting into HEVC, you started getting into all sorts of crazy codecs, ProRes. You just start, it's crazy. Now, right? So that's all considered baseband. So
Right.
SDI is considered baseband, right? A 720p signal is 1.5 gigs bandwidth. Okay. 1080p, 3
Right.
gigs, right? So our core router, the ports, each there are I don't know how many ports, there's a bunch, right? But each port is 10 gig of bandwidth.
Oh, wow.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
So you can cram in 3 1080p signals into one port. Great, great. In and out, no problem. Okay. Their new routers are doing 800 gigabits per port.
Oh my gosh. Why?
So eight provisioning for 8K and 4K.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just you're provisioning for 8K content. I mean, when you're trying to move multiple 8K signals around, I mean, 4K is 4 1080p signals, right? So that's 3.6. That's almost 10 gigs per stream. So then you take that and you go up to 8K, right? You're quickly exceeding capacity of a lot of professional level equipment at that point.
Right.
So we're just future planning on what does our next steps look like, right? So we're looking at things that can do and support 25 gig, 100 gig, 200 gig. Like we're kind of just pushing it out there to see what we're doing. But we're also trying to leverage the cloud, cloud production, remote production. So there's a big push for what does cloud production look like for our business. There's cloud, there's what does it look like for our partnership with NBC and ESPN. So there's this huge cloud push. So this trip was all about future planning with this specific vendor. And it was a good trip. Got to go to Canada, got to see the factory, got to see the facility where all the R&D and stuff is made, and get to see their new fancy tools and toys. And
do you think at this point, Shawn, though, when you think about 8K or 4K, is this something that could be on campus? So everybody on campus could be able to receive a 4K, 8K stream. Is this something they'll broadcast? Do you think broadcast television will eventually go this route?
No. If it does, it's going to be like it is now, where you're going to have to pay extra for 4K. The broadcast TV, there's no incentive to go to 4K. There's no incentive. Yeah. The business, like the TV that you know and that I grew up with, that the majority of our listeners probably know, is no longer, right? That is no longer the viable business model, right? And the vendor said we showed people 4K and 1080p HDR together.
Right.
And more often than not, people prefer the 1080p HDR over the 4K. So 1080p HDR is going to be great, because you also have to look at where people are watching their content. They're watching it on their TVs, their smart TVs. They're watching it. They're not watching it over the air. They're watching it on a streaming platform. Right. There's no incentive for any streaming provider to push 4K and pay for that bandwidth. There's not.
If you think about it, like take MeTV or any of these TV shows, they play a lot of the old television shows, the Munsters, Addams Family, Petticoat Junction, etc. There's no reason for those to upscale. You're getting 480, and that's about it.
Right. And even with ATSC 3.0, right, it's provisioned for being able to broadcast in 4K. But you have to get people to put the money into those facilities to do 4K. And that's not going to happen. Yeah. You're not seeing traditional television stations invest that kind of money in doing in producing content that gives them no value in return.
Right.
So 1080p HDR is likely going to it's not going to be the end all, right? As the math gets better and transmission, and they squeeze more and more out of the radio spectrum, 4K will come around.
Right.
But it's going to be a while.
It's so funny. It's so funny though, because Shawn, radio, we'll take a look at radio, and you're listening, everybody that's listening to the radio right now. Over the years, it was always ingrained, you do it at the highest quality, the highest bit rate. And now it's honestly, except for music is very important to have at the highest, bit rate that you can. But for, for talk radio, everything is like 128. It's mono, and it's basic, the lowest quality you can go because it's acceptable, just like the old TV shows.
Yeah. So it's you don't the people aren't going to corporations aren't going to want to spend money where there's no return. So you will likely see 1080p HDR continue to lead and be the forefront of major sports and news broadcasts.
Right.
And you'll see the occasional 4K, right? Most stuff is, so that's the thing, right? People have to remember, right? A lot of stuff for a lot of sports is shot in 4K or 8K, right? And then it's downscaled to 1080p. So you take a lot of this 4K stuff and you downscale your program output to 1080p HDR because it looks good.
Yeah, the benefit
You're,
is
you're not native
picture, right?
4K. Yeah, you're going to get a better looking picture, but it's not native. It's native 4K, but it's not broadcast in 4K.
Right.
Not everything. There are some things that are broadcasted in 4K, like the DirecTV stuff, right? But you're still paying for that, and I feel you're gonna see a lot less of that.
We've seen that with big major sporting events, like the bowl games, or the Major League Baseball, where they may broadcast something in the highest quality
but
possible.
where are you watching that? Right? Justin paid for YouTube TV 4K, so
Right.
he's getting what, a compressed 4K signal,
Mm-hmm.
probably at 1080p quality. Right? It's people just want the biggest and the best because that's what everybody tells you. But it's like 1080p HDR is going to be the golden goose for a long time to come.
Right. Now, when you're shooting something, say at the university, you are shooting it the highest quality, and again, downscaled. Is it available in archives though, that if somebody wanted to come back and watch it, they'd be able to watch it in the highest quality? Is that possible?
So we depends on what it is.
Okay.
Not everything we shoot gets archived at. So our Dreamcatcher recording system records at 100 meg.
Okay. All right.
It's basically ProRes 100 meg. We don't, if we're saving it, we're making a clip, and we're exporting it as an MP4 at 30 meg.
Right.
Because usually it's just going to the web or
Right.
delivering it to a client. We don't hardly ever save the full 100 meg content.
Or if
Now,
you're
athletics does. Athletics saves all the high res 100 meg stuff
right.
because they're archiving it. They're keeping all that archive stuff. And not everything that we do for the university needs to be archived, right? A lot of the stuff for the president's office is still being shot one off, and that stuff's being archived internally with the president's office or the marketing communications department. But a lot of our broadcasted stuff outside of athletics is only saved at 30 or 10 meg.
I still have not made the move yet, and we've talked about this. I'm on Xfinity. I've got that as my provider, and we've been talking about, okay, I'm going to do the demo for YouTube TV to see, because from what I understand with YouTube TV, the savings could be about $125 a month by going from cable to YouTube TV.
Yeah, I would have to go back and look, because I know we've talked about this before with Kayla's parents when they went from Spectrum cable,
right,
and Comcast cable to YouTube TV. They were paying like $140 a month or something,
right,
for all their channels, and it dropped them down to like 75 a month.
Yeah, that's what I think the price is. So I mean, $75 a month is a lot better than 160.
Yeah, plus you get some DVR options, and you get some quality of life stuff. Like you can say, "Hey, I want to watch this program," and you can come back in and just watch that program, and it'll record episodes for you as it goes. So you can just watch, basically it DVRs them for you like a streaming service. You can watch one episode, it'll go right to the next episode. Like you can binge a series that you've saved on YouTube TV.
Do you think though, Shawn, that we're going to find that the providers like Xfinity or Spectrum or anybody that's providing the internet end of that are going to see the prices continuing to increase as people drop off their cord cutting, and they say, well, we're not going to get the cable service anymore. We're going to go to an antenna, or we're going to go to YouTube TV. and they're going to need that bandwidth to be able to watch their shows.
Yeah, you're gonna see the prices continue to go up. That's just the way it is, right? Just today, even Microsoft Game Pass raised their price.
Are you kidding me? Really?
Every streaming service is going up because it's bandwidth, right? These people, these corporations have to pay their internet providers for the bandwidth,
Right.
and the more bandwidth you consume, the more it costs them. And
well, I have something to tell you, John. A couple of weeks ago on the show, when you and I were talking, I was telling you about my TPM 2.0 module that I had bought. I had bought a 20 minus 1 pin TPM 2.0 module. Was so excited. I got that module in, and I downsized my half 932 into a fractal G, which we talked about. And I finally took that TPM 2.0 module and tried to plug it in.
boom.
Wrong size. It was a 14 minus 1 that I needed. So luckily, I was able to return it and order the right one. I got the right one in. I was so excited because what this would mean with this TPM 2.0 module, and for those listening, and we've mentioned it before, Microsoft Windows 10 will cease getting the updates next October. Not this October, the following October. So I thought, let's be ahead of the curve. I'm gonna go ahead and update this to Windows 11. And I put that TPM 2.0 module in, rebooted the computer, went into the BIOS. There it was. It saw it. It was ready to go. I went ahead and enabled it. I'm so excited. This means I will be on the pathway to installing Windows 11. Excited. And I also copied everything from a 480, gigabyte drive to a 1 terabyte drive. So I had all this extra space. Talked about that. Got it all cleared. Rebooted it. Then went to PC Health Check. And if you don't have PC Health Check, everybody, you can go to Microsoft.com and you could get the PC Health Check to test your system to make sure it's upgradable to Windows 11. And I knew at this point it was going to tell me, yes, you're ready to go. And it saw the TPM 2.0 module, but it said my processor did not qualify. And that's exactly the face you just made is the face I made. Wait, what? So I have a 6600 i7 inside this computer from Intel. It's a good processor, right? 4 gigahertz, I think. And it is not qualified because it's a 7th generation, not an 8th generation or above. And
that's crazy.
Because of that, it will not qualify. And I went online.
I'm gonna break in for a public service announcement real quick. Right. So, weather safety. We have a big storm coming. I don't know if you can hear it in the background, but everybody should have a weather radio. My weather radio is going off, so I'm just gonna go hit it real quick. So I'll be right back. I'm just gonna make sure there's nothing crazy going on.
Oh, this is great. This is like what we went through earlier this week, weather-wise, with the tornado reported in Marana. That was a lot of fun. Well, while he's taking care of that, so I was just so excited. But no. So if you run the PC Health Check, and all right, you're back. Everything okay?
Severe thunderstorm warning. Yeah. So it's just we have a really big storm line coming through that's spawned a bunch of tornadoes up in Wisconsin and Illinois. So,
oh my Lord.
I just want to make sure, I'm a big weather nut, right? So just what weather safety, right? So if you have a NOAA enabled weather radio, get it plugged in, turn it on. It's automatic. It automatically will trigger from the alarm. So you might have heard it going off in the back room there as I was opening the door. But it's great to have. It's safe. It's just beneficial to have in case of an emergency.
We needed this earlier this week. We actually had a tornado warning here in Tucson, in Marana, where I live.
Wow.
And something hit us. One person said on the web it was a tornado. Others are saying it was a heavy storm. Either way, my stuff in my backyard went all the way over to the wall. And I saw my window frame, my screen from the window fly over into my neighbor's yard, all caught on camera. Gotta love that.
Yeah, it's crazy. It means I need to go shut my shed also, but that's all right. I'll get to that in a minute.
You want to do that right now? We can take a quick break.
If we take our break, I'll come back. I gotta go shut the shed. I'm gonna pull the security footage of me running into the backyard in my Bucky's outfit, though.
All right, perfect. I gotta see this. We will take a break. We'll come back. I will tell the rest of my story. of why you need to do a little research before you want to upgrade to Windows 11. I'm Andy Taylor.
I'm Shawn and Andy. Find us on Facebook at Facebook Talkers. Find us.
Shawn is the guy without Facebook, and he's.
I'm Shawn and Andy. Find us on Facebook at TechtalkRadio.
Yeah, well, that's me, but Tech Talkers is
Tech
the one.
Talkers.
All right, now you got to run out of here with your Bucky's outfit. We got to see how that looks. We'll post the picture up on the World Wide Web. Again, techtalkradio.com, the website, blog.techtalkradio.com. We'll be right back. All right, Shawn is back from running to the shed in his Bucky's outfit, which I love it. First thing you said to me when you got back, it's humid out there. And I'm thinking, you're wearing a Bucky's outfit.
Yes, I'm wearing a Bucky's outfit. It is hot. But I want to just pull up the weather because the lightning is pretty intense when I was out there. It hadn't started raining yet, but it's coming. So,
all right. So now you recommended, though, before you went out, weather radio and NOAA weather radio. Why is this something to have?
So the weather radio is good to have because if you haven't plugged in an area that can get reception, is that NOAA will issue the national, NOAA or the National Weather Service will issue these weather alerts, safety alerts, tornado alerts, tornado warnings, thunderstorm warnings, whatever.
Right.
And they automatically come to your radio. So you'll probably hear it again here in a little bit because it's going to get ugly for us. But it alarms. It's got an alarm on it, and you basically have to snooze the alarm on it when it pops up. But it's just good to have because if you don't know a storm's coming, if you're not paying attention, you can pop in and you can look and you can just hear. It'll just alert you. It's just good to have. It's safe. It's recommended to have in an emergency, right? A radio is good to have, especially one that's battery powered or hand cranked, right? Solar powered, whatever. Because if your power goes out and you need access to information, you don't have the internet anymore. 5G cell phones are going to be crammed up. Everybody's going to be on their cell phones trying to get information. It's just beneficial to have because they'll put out the most up-to-date information on the radio. So,
and they're not that expensive, right?
You can buy them at yard sales all the time. People get rid of them all the time. I bought another one for $2. So I have one upstairs too. So Caitlin's probably going to be mad at me because it probably went off upstairs too.
Yeah.
I have one in the basement and I have one upstairs because I don't want to have to, if there's an emergency and we need to get into the basement, I don't want to have to be like, oh, let me grab the radio and unplug stuff. There's one in the basement already plugged in. So,
all right.
So I wanted to show you. So you like to use a weather app called Radar Omega.
Radar Omega. All right.
Radar Omega. I think it's $8. Paid $8 for it. What I like about it is it's for the storm chaser enthusiast. Right, it's a great weather app that you can use to find segmented weather radar data for your area, but you can also track storm chasers right through the app.
Oh, so you have your favorite storm chaser. You can find out where they're at.
Yep. So look at this storm is insane, right? Look at this storm, right? Wow. There's all these warnings, tornado warning there near Bloomington, Indiana. We're getting this little nugget. We're getting this little nugget right over my house right now.
This was recorded earlier this week. So, if anybody's listening in that area, this is maybe not happening right now.
This is not happening right now, but we've got this pretty intense storm coming through, right? And we're about to get caught up in this.
Really strong.
So, but what's cool about it is you'll find these little green dots.
Okay.
I can zoom in and I click on it and it'll pop it up and it'll pull up their stream right in the app.
Oh my gosh. Are you kidding me? Oh, that is so cool.
It will give me their look. Ooh, you might have been able to hear that thunder on the camera.
Yeah.
You can pull that one up. Oh, I want to see this other stream instead. And you can find all of these people who are chasing storms that are part of this app.
Right.
So
you could see what they're seeing because they're streaming it live while they're out on the road.
Yep. So you can come in and then you might find people. So it just depends on who you want to watch or where you want to watch.
All right.
But based on what I can hear from outside right now, it's very stormy. I can hear the thunder pretty loud over my headphones and everything. But so I'm a big weather nut. You guys know that. We've talked about this before, but I just wanted to share this Radar Omega app. If you're viewing it on the web, I'll share a link to it in the blog, but it's just a great, and you can pay for more upgrades in future, because right now this doesn't do forecasting.
Okay. So it won't tell you, in 6 hours, you could have this storm come through. It's just what is happening right now.
Yeah. It'll give me about 3 or 4 minutes worth of time. Like this is what's happening. And then if I refresh the app, it'll get me back to real time.
But if I'm not mistaken, though, when there's a storm chaser that's nearby, that means they've probably got the inside circle and the telemetry of what is happening with a storm. So that will tell you where a storm could certainly be.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, obviously you can track the storms based on, and this will give you the National Weather Service alerts. Like if you click on this yellow box, it'll tell you, hey, there's a severe thunderstorm warning there. It'll tell you when it expires. You can click on the red ones. Hey, there's a tornado warning, and whether or not it's radar indicated or just observed. So it just kind of gives you an idea of where things are, and so you can be a little bit more prepared.
That is cool. Radio Omega, and again, it's an $8
Radar
Omega, sorry, and it's an $8 cost for it, but there's no cost after that. Basically, that's $8 one time. You got it.
Yeah, there are other features that you can pay for that you can extend your experience, but the one-time fee to buy the app gets you pretty much everything you need, unless you really want to start tracking and do forecasting and some other stuff too. But
right, I like it. Very good stuff. All right, so we were talking about the TPM 2.0. What you need to do if you are thinking about upgrading your system, go to the Microsoft website and you can look under the Windows 11 upgrade path. It will tell you all of the processors that could be used to upgrade. So at this point, I thought, okay, I've got this Asus Z170A motherboard. I could go ahead and maybe just buy another processor that would qualify for it. Should be easy enough, right? No, that board apparently has some issues and there are no processors available that I could put into this board that will allow me to upgrade it to Windows 11. It's kind of sad. I mean, it really is sad. And you feel like number one, Microsoft's let you down. Or number two, Intel has let you down because now I'm at the point, I'm going to send this TPM 2.0 module back because it's really not going to benefit me because I'm not going to be able to go to Windows 11 with that board.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. And it's that planned obsolescence type thing, right? But I get it, right? You can't have older security, right? You think an i7 6600 right, is pretty good, right?
Yeah.
But it lives in an era long enough ago that there are known security vulnerabilities that can be taken advantage of by bad actors. That's just the simple fact of the world we live in right now. Older technology is vulnerable.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And we talked about this the last show I was on, right? Should I reboot my computer? Should I reboot my phone? Should I be on the most up-to-date iOS or OS or whatever? Yeah, you should.
If I've got that old computer running Windows XP, should I connect it to the net and plug it in?
So there's a great resource you can go and you can find it. Just Google it. How fast does it take to compromise a Windows XP computer?
Mm-hmm. Pretty
just Google it. If you're interested in it, Google it. It's seconds. A Windows XP shows up on the internet, it's compromised immediately.
And you're not going to sites that would, I mean, you're not even going to sites. It's just there.
No, it's just the ports that are open for you to get to the internet are being snooped by billions of devices all the time, bot farms, you name it, looking for those vulnerabilities.
Now, I will say, and somebody asked me this, Shawn, tell me your thoughts on this. They have games that they played under, Windows 95, 98, Windows XP, and they love these games. They're not multiplayer games. They're single player games. They have the CD material for it. They want to play their old games. Now, other than, GOG, if it's available, could they have a system that's not connected to the net? Just turning it on will not put them in a situation where they could be infected with malware.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you have an older computer and you want to play your old games on it, just don't connect it to the internet.
Yeah.
I mean, you can still run old machines, no problem.
Right.
And there's nothing stopping you from building a Windows XP machine or a Windows 98 machine or a Windows 95 machine or a Windows 3.1. Like, go geek out and all that stuff, right? But you're going to be sorely disappointed on how little nostalgia there is to how insufferable it was back in Windows.
Yeah. We didn't think of it back then, did we? We didn't think
Well,
that
it was
those
the new,
graphics.
like, you don't realize how the quality of life on newer software is. Now, there's disadvantages to that, right? Because marketing has gone the way it has to stuff our faces full of ads in every nook and cranny of our computer nowadays. And you
Right?
won't have that. Windows 7, probably the best operating system that existed,
Yeah. Yeah.
the best platform, the best user experience, in my opinion. Windows 10, Windows 8 was terrible. They started serving ads in
Awful.
the start bar.
Yeah.
Then Windows 10 came along, and Windows 10 at first was great. They didn't start serving ads immediately. They waited for a while, and then they
Mm.
started jamming ads down your throat.
Yeah.
And with Windows 11 and Windows 12 coming, it's just you're going to be getting ads, and it's inevitable until they're going to be able to insert ads into games you're playing while you're playing them live. Right? You're going to get a break. It's just they're just going to be straight to your brain with ads. That's all.
Well, it could be a can of soda on the counter that is interchangeable. So maybe Coca-Cola is paying for it this week, and then Pepsi paying for the next week. That could change. I mean,
Well, it's all licensing and stuff, right? You're even seeing older games that people are streaming, older games that have copyrighted music in them they were licensed for that game, that those licenses have run out,
right?
and people's streams are getting taken down because they're playing a game that has copyrighted music in it that is no longer licensed by that people that own the game. So therefore, they're playing copyrighted music. Therefore, their stream gets taken down.
Yeah,
it's crazy. It's all about money.
Pretty crazy how that works. So this is what I ended up doing, Shawn. I have, in the meantime, because in our studio we have our streaming server, which is what we're on right now, and that's the one I was trying to get updated to Windows 11. Then we have our recording system that is recording the audio for the show. So I went ahead and I ordered a brand new motherboard. I kind of stick with Asus on this. I got, even though the A170A is the one I have in this system, so I ordered the board. Amazon was having a sale this past week. Best price I could find on a processor. I got a processor that will fit, and got 32 gigabytes of 6400 memory, and I'm going to update that one to Windows 11. But I just, out of a whim, I decided, you know what? It's been a long time. It's time for me to play around with Ubuntu a little. And I found a installation called Wubuntu, Wubuntu. And I decided to give it a shot. Now, the crazy thing is, I went ahead and I installed it freshly on a 1 terabyte drive. You have to download the ISO and then use a program like I have a Roxio 9 to create onto a DVD that ISO to create that install. You could also do it with a flash drive, depending on the program you're using. And I installed Ubuntu. Now they do ask for a $35 donation to unlock all of their power tools, which I went ahead and did, because it's always good to support the developer. And I'll tell you, Shawn, it's weird. This thing looks just like Windows. I mean, exactly like Windows.
Yeah, you mentioned Ubuntu, right? That's something I looked into. It's designed, and I was told this by a coworker, it's designed to mimic Windows 11.
Mm-hmm. Now,
with the Linux flavor,
and it's Linux. There are different apps I could install. I was able to install Skype. I was able to install Edge. I was able to install Google Chrome. I was able to there's Office you could install on this, I guess, or at least
Skype. What year is this?
Right. I still have Skype. But I was able to install those. I couldn't install any of my Adobe programs, but I could install Audacity if I wanted to. Not that I really have a need. And it's been great. I mean, it's again, it looks like Windows 11. I haven't tried any games on it, of course, because it's really the main.
And to be fair, right? Your video, even though it's squished into a 4x3 because you don't have the right drivers for it, looks better now than it did before.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't have a lot.
It just looks just looks better.
Yeah,
so even the generic drivers on stuff just looks better.
So I mean, there is a solution. People will ask, is Linux, Ubuntu, is it safe? Because people think if they get this and they install it, they run it, that they're going to be more susceptible to malware than they would on a Windows machine. And
no, I mean, every operating system has its flaws, right? And every operating system gets security patches and updates. So as long as you're running the most up-to-date version of Ubuntu, Debian, Red Hat, Fedora, whatever
Right.
distribution of Linux you're using, as long as you're not doing anything nefarious like surfing the dark web or, going
Right.
to shady websites, you're going to be just fine.
Yeah.
And, my father-in-law was a big, when they had multiple computers in their house, he was like, I need antivirus on every computer. I need multiple licenses. And I was like, rein it in, dude. You don't
Yeah.
need
Yeah.
you don't need a license of Avast or whatever on every computer. Windows Defender is fine, right?
Yep.
We're in the age that the operating systems, the vendors, Microsoft, Apple, Ubuntu, whatever, are taking this way more seriously than they used to, and they're making it easier and cheaper because it benefits them in the long run, right? There's
Right.
there's nothing good can come of, you know, like when they had the WannaCry or when they had the low 2 hack or whatever, bad PR, right?
Right.
So you're safe,
Yeah.
right? If you're running Windows 10 and you're up to date, you're safe.
Exactly. But the thing is, next October is when you're probably not going to be safe after that. And that's how, at least that's how you're being made to feel through Microsoft. Because they'll push no more security updates.
Yeah, they'll still push major vulnerability security updates,
I would
right?
hope.
They won't push bug fixes. They're not going to be pushing quality of life fixes, but they'll continue just like they did. They say we're never going to push Windows updates, but then you heard, the
Mhm.
log J2 attack or whatever that happened 3 years ago, and they said, "Oh, here's a Windows XP Service Pack 3 security update."
Exactly.
Because of how many critical infrastructure pieces of infrastructure around the country, around the world, still run on XP for software that wasn't ported over to Windows 10 or Windows 7 or whatever.
Right.
So you'll still continue to get major security updates to Windows 10 for a while, I think.
It's funny because Slick, who's not here with us, has always been a big proponent of Linux and Ubuntu. And I ran a flavor of Ubuntu many, many, many years ago. And I remember I loved the experience. I forgot how much fun it was to actually install it. And people will say on an older system, you may be able to run a distribution of Linux on it and get new life for that system, whether it be a laptop or even a desktop computer that maybe was running
It's
a little slow.
Linux is the lighter weight operating system, so it just demands less resources from your computer, and it has a wider variety of open source drivers and things. So things just
Mhm.
seem to operate a little bit smoother. Not everything has support, right? You have to remember, right? Linux, not everything is supported by um, Linux, and the big one, if a lot of people don't remember, is that Ubuntu doesn't support some H.264 encoding either, because
That's right.
Ubuntu doesn't pay H.264. So it, it's weird to think about, like, oh, everything's H.264. How come you can't support it? Well, Ubuntu would have to pay. I don't remember if it's Ubuntu or if it's a different distribution. But one of the
Right.
major distributions doesn't support H.264 hardware encoding
Right.
because they're not paying H.264.
I believe Debian does.
But so there's one of the major vendors. So you just got to remember, there's certain things you're going to learn that, well, they're not supported. Well, you got to find the flavor that works for you, because there are dozens of flavors of not Ubuntu, dozens of flavors of Linux that
Right.
sort of serve different purposes.
It's sad though, Sean. I did a search after I got this installed, and I've used it with a in studio guest, and now using it with you here, doing it remotely. And I thought, oh, let's see how it works with tonight to do this. And I read a review. I did a search of Ubuntu, and the story that came up said why the one Linux distribution you don't want to install, and it was Ubuntu. Now the guy
Yeah,
was
but
the,
why?
the, the guy was talking. He's saying, well, they've got licensed. It does. It looks like Windows 11. I mean, the way it's laid out. This is, and that's all owned by Microsoft. They're going to be, there's probably going to be some challenges, and meaning they won't get the support anymore. So I don't know. I'm having fun with it though.
Because that's
So
the whole point, right? That's the whole point. is have fun with it. That's the whole point about doing computer stuff is you get to have fun and you get
Right.
to poke around, you get to play. Like not everybody likes to do that. Some people just want, I want to type my word and deal with the Facebook.
Yeah.
Right. But some people like to poke around and reinstall operating systems and build computers. Like that's the part of it. Like, yeah,
So
so
now,
what if it's not gonna have support? But you did a cool thing and you had fun.
now I'm thinking about the next one is Neptune. I'm hearing Neptune, it was just Debian, is a good one for multimedia systems. And that's why I mentioned that I do believe maybe there's H.264 in that one. I don't know. I want to find out. So again, the only thing I could do is, go ahead and give it a shot and try it. And there's nothing to lose. I mean, you could, as always, we recommend if you're going to try shareware of any kind, make a donation. If I was to go out and buy the copy of Windows 11, it would cost me 119, 120 bucks, $35 for this one. And apparently I will get the Power Tools updates and I will be able to use it and have some fun. And then you could do the same thing with Debian if you want to try that. But it's kind of cool. All right, we're going to take another quick break. We're going to come back with more of Tech Talk Radio. I'm Andy Taylor.
I'm Shawn DeWeerd. Find us on X at Tech Talk Radio.
Always like when we have show and tell on the show. And that's kind of like what we got right now with Shawn in the Bucky's outfit.
So,
all right, so tell us about this. What is it?
Well, it's in pieces right now.
Okay.
But I am currently upgrading my 5th generation iPod Touch.
Whoa, are you kidding me? Really?
So I've got my fifth generation iPod. It's not an iPod Touch. It's just the 5th generation iPod, the video iPod. It's the first one that did video.
All right, that's yours.
Whatever. This is mine. I've got it apart right now. I took the old hard drive out. I took the battery still in it, but I had taken it apart a long time ago because I wanted to upgrade the battery because the battery was shot. Then my buddy tells me last night, "Hey, I found this great website that you can buy new retrofitted parts for your older iPods.
You're kidding me.
Add higher capacity batteries,
right?
Add more storage, and there's an OS you can run on it, so you can play all of your media on it. So you can play your music and your movies and your TV shows all from your old iPod. Plus, that you can swap out the back kit for it, so it'll support USB-C, it'll support Bluetooth, it'll support a bunch of other stuff. So, Moonlit.market. Moonlit.market it's a UK website. But they make bundles. It's called the Classic Connect SD card adapter, battery, and glue bundle. So you can take it apart, but you can put in up to 2 terabytes of storage. And it's a solderless Bluetooth kit with USB-C for the iPod Classic.
Oh my gosh. Now, did this set you back a bit? I mean,
the kit is about 189 euros.
All right. Which is,
I don't know how much that is. The euro is less than $1, so probably about 150 bucks. I don't know. I'd have to look. I haven't bought it yet. This is when I was talking last night. I'm going to buy it. So you can buy the kit and do it yourself, or you can just buy one from them.
Right. That's already been modded out, right?
That's already been modded. So if you wanted to have, this was revolutionary when it came out.
Oh yeah.
If you just want to be able to have it and be able to play movies or TV shows in your pocket, I could fit almost my.
Don't we have phones for that?
But what if I don't have internet? What if I don't have cell service?
Because you could store up to 2 terabytes on that.
Yes.
Oh, got it.
Thanks. I could download my shows, my music, whatever.
Right.
It's like just having the iPod when you had it back in the day.
It's kind of cool too, right?
So then there's another website I want to talk to you about. It's called Elite Obsolete Electronics, EOE.
EOE. All right.
It is if you're looking for parts, accessories, or tools for your iPod Classic, your iPod Nano, your iPad Mini, your iPod Touch, your iPod Shuffle, your iPhone, your iPad, this website is going to have it.
I had somebody asking me the other day, Shawn, that they had some old Android phones and they had some old iPhones. I don't know, 4S. They were wondering about finding the plugs for those. Is this site, would that be a site to go to?
So which one was it for?
They had some old Android phones. I want to say, gosh, it would have been early Samsung. And then they had an iPhone 4S.
So iPhone. So let's go to iPhone.
Right.
iPhone 4S.
Yeah. All
You
right.
you can buy a refurbished Apple iPhone 4S 8 gig for $45. You can buy powers and cables. Yeah, you can find all the parts and pieces you would need: power cables, chargers, adapters. That really fat 40 pin cable that every iPhone came with.
I
That's
remember
on
that.
here. You can
Nice.
get a USB-C to 30 pin. It's 30 pins, not 40 pins. You can get a USB-C to 30 pin to charge for syncing. Yeah, they have them all here. They have FireWire cables. They've got all sorts of cool stuff in here.
But now they were wondering if they found the power plug for it, would they then be able to power up that device in most cases? I mean, if it's not damaged internally,
Yeah, no, I mean, most older devices, as long as the battery's not toast,
right?
if it's been sitting, if it went into a low charge capacity, whatever, there may be some tips or tricks to get that going. But more often than not, as long as it hasn't been sitting for a decade, well, it
Mhm.
might be at this point if it's a 4S, right?
Yeah, of course.
But I have a 4S or a 4. I can plug it in. I think it still works. I still
Right.
have all my old iPhones, including my iPhone 2G.
Yeah, there are companies out there, and I don't know if you've been to some Walmarts. I know that they have them in there where you can actually take your old iPhone and you can actually sell it at these kiosks, and you don't even interact with a person. You say what it is, here it is, and then you drop your phone in there, and they don't pay very much money. And people have asked me, is that a good idea? And I always say no. I keep every
No.
one of my devices.
Yeah, so I mean, as long as you know your data has been wiped, right? But even recently, Apple has been known to not really delete things, right? So,
Yep.
but don't trust a big box store recycling center for your data.
Yeah.
Don't go trade your phone in for $20 because oh, it's just a hunk of junk, paperweight, whatever. Well, they're going to recycle that, or they're going to refurb it and make money on it.
Right.
And if you don't delete your data properly, you don't know whose hands it's going into,
So this
right?
is going to be different than iFixit, which I love. iFixit. iFixit makes it possible for you to fix with vendor parts from that manufacturer, and get a right to fix when it comes to a lot. They've even doing mice from
Yeah, I
Logitech.
would say like iFixit is great if it's a current gen device, right? It's all about current gen. iFixit has always been good about current generation stuff, right? Hey, here's the new iPhone 15. We tore it apart day one, right? They've
Mhm.
got a team of engineers that are tearing it apart, giving you guides so that you can go in and fix your fancy new iPhone 15. This Elite Obsolete Electronics is designed for older stuff. Like it only goes up to it goes up to the iPhone X, but it's
Yeah.
older stuff. Like they have parts for the iPod Classic, right? They
Oh
have
wow.
accessories for the iPod Classic, stickers and memorabilia, like that you can go back and get. You could buy the boxes. They have boxes for the old iPod Classics for sale. Like they have a bunch of old cool stuff. You could buy, old. It's got old Intel stickers. It's got Intel. It's got
How
a
about
bunch of
old
fun.
laptop type stuff? I know people who have old laptops laying around that they just upgrade and the laptops just sat there and
Yeah,
they
this
type
website's
in.
designed mostly around Apple products, older Apple products. So not,
Right.
but I'm sure there are other websites that are designed for older laptops. But
Yeah. I've had people that have reached out to me and I've done data transfers on those old laptops. We get them powered up or we take the hard drive out and we just go ahead and copy the data off of it. And, they're usually surprised. And I've asked, do you want me to do a delete recovery where we can recover files that have been deleted? And a lot of people say, yeah, 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 because they forgot what they deleted. And then they're like, oh, that's why I deleted it. I didn't want that. So again, I mean, there's different tracks for your older stuff that you could still be using today, which is kind of cool. I like this. What is the full address for EOE? Is it
eoe.works.
eoe.works? I like that one. That is pretty good. What else have you been up to in the last, well, other than traveling to Canada, uh, the last couple of weeks? US,
Um,
you've seen the news that Redbox is going away?
Redbox is going away.
Yep.
Microsoft raised their rates on Game Pass.
Yep.
I feel like
Crackle.
every time I go to a streaming thing, they're raising the money.
Crackle is going away as well, which is kind of shocking.
Crackle, wow.
Crackle. Yeah, Crackle.
Um,
Crackle and Redbox were owned by the same company. And Redbox is, in case you don't know, if you forgot, you go to, your grocery store, or you go to a Walgreens or somewhere, you might find that big red kiosk outside. And they had just run into a situation where they weren't paying the people to get out there and, maintain these DVD boxes. Now, what that means is, will they do a sell-off on some of that physical media? Will that happen?
I'm sure. I mean, that Netflix did the same thing, right? Netflix had a fire sale on DVDs. You could buy DVDs for like $1.99 off. Basically, they said there was a point where they basically said, if you get a DVD from us, you just keep it.
Yeah, yeah, because they were.
If you had the DVD plan, I had a friend who had the DVD plan up until they canceled it like a year ago.
Right.
She's like, every DVD I rented from them, I just kept it.
I'm kind of disappointed though that Crackle is going, because when you think about that space, it's a great way for people to get their entertainment. We've talked about Pluto TV, we've talked about Plex.tv, and Sling TV. They got options. TiVo has got options there for you to watch different programs that are available and streaming, online. And Crackle was also a way to get movies and TV shows, the whole bit. But it's a difficult space right now to compete in.
Well, it's all, we've talked about this in the episode earlier, right? We've talked about licensing throughout this entire episode. It all comes down to licensing and money, right?
Yeah.
So Redbox has to license those movies to rent them.
Mm-hmm.
So if people aren't renting movies from Redbox, they're not making their money back.
Exactly.
That's why like on Prime or any of these other places, right? They're paying for these licenses, and it's a battle, right? That's why things come and go from your streaming platform. You can hear my weather radio again. It's going off again. So give me 1 second.
All right. Well, matter of fact, we'll take a break. We come back with more of Tech Talk Radio. I'm Andy Taylor. You can find our blog at blog.techtalkradio.com.
So we talked about nostalgia a little bit in this episode.
We do that a lot.
There's, out of your experience on the internet, right?
Right.
Think 20 years ago.
Okay.
What were you watching on the internet?
Oh boy, that was
2004.
Oh, that was 20 years ago. Yeah. 2004. Yeah. Oh my gosh. What was I watching on the internet?
Okay, so like you had things like E-Bombs World, Albino Black Sheep, Homestar Runner. These are the things. I was in high school, right? So this was all Flash video games, right? Earth 2024 was a game that I played online.
Right.
GeoCities was the big one. Angel Fire was the big one, right? All these big so this came up about a month ago. So Homestar Runner is this terrible, it's actually a really funny Flash animated website that was built back in the early 2000s called Homestar Runner, and they had characters and cartoons. They are still releasing content.
From 20 years ago?
No. They're still generating new content for this website.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
So they just announced they're one of their characters you can get like a puppet.
A puppet?
Puppet.
So you buy
links.
an actual merch now for a puppet.
Yep.
That's great.
So it's called homestarrunner.com. If you want to waste 10, 15 minutes on the internet, like homestarrunner.com, go watch the Strong Bad emails. It's been memed around the internet, right? So if you go there, you're gonna be like, oh, that's where that meme comes from, right? Sometimes you find things on the internet where oh, that's where that meme came from. So Trogdor, the dragon, that comes from this. Trogdor the Burninator it was part of a skit they did back in the early 2000s from this website.
Homestar Runner. All right.
Homestarrunner.com.
I'm going to have to look that one up. In the meantime, I think somebody needs to develop a video game with Shawn inside of Buc-ee's in his outfit and have you moving around from aisle to aisle. And you have to have Shawn find the cashews, find the pralines.
Is there not a Buc-ee's game yet?
Oh my gosh. I wonder. We may have come across
Buc-ee's video game.
There is?
No, I don't know. I'm looking it up.
we're gonna have to develop this one if not. Anyway, we want to thank you for tuning in to the show. If you've got a question for us, you can email us anytime, techguys@techtalkradio.com. You can text us as well at 520-777-9580. Shawn, good luck with this storm.
Thanks, Andy. Yeah, hopefully Hopefully, I'm still here next week. We'll see. I got about an hour probably before it gets here, but it's not looking good for Chicago right now. So,
Oh yeah, Chicago in the spotlight for this one too. All right, well, take care. God bless. We'll be back again with more next week. I'm Andy Taylor.
I'm Shawn DeWeerd. Find us on the web at techtalkradio.com. Have a great week.